Okay, welcome to this video which is being done for helituning.com. This is the Outrage Velocity 50, which is their 50 nitro helicopter, which was released at the beginning of August. And this is the what's in the box video, where I'm just going to go through the box and show you what you get with your Velocity 50 kit. So I've just flipped open the lid here and pulled out the manual that comes with the Velocity 50. This is quite a comprehensive manual, and it's very clearly set out and laid out, so you can go through and build your helicopter, and it includes setup information, initial operation practice, and then your usual exploded diagrams and parts lists at the back of the manual. Inside the box itself there are actually three boxes. This main box here, which we'll see has got the canopy in it. Then there's a box at the back here which has got the boom and some other bits and pieces in it. And there's a third box here which has the Outrage Hyperage HR50 muffler within it. So I'll go through now and open up these other boxes so you can see what's in those, and then we'll have a look at the contents. Okay, so here we have a slightly tighter angle on the box. I've taken the Hyperrange muffler out of its box. You can see in one usual one-piece Outrage muffler. This bag at the back here was the long box that you could see at the back of the packaging, and it has the boom in it and a tube with the boom supports within it, and various parts here for putting together. We've of course got the canopy in here, and these are Canamod canopies. So if I unwrap that, you can see the Velocity 50. This is the orange Canamod canopy. It's actually the one that I like the best of the canopies. Some of the pre-order kits actually come with two canopies. Mine's not a pre-order kit, it's just a standard production kit, so it just has this one single canopy within it. You can see the Canamod logo there, and it's very, very nicely painted up. Okay, so here we have main bags 1, 2 and 3, and within those we can see the main shaft and the collar for the main shaft, feather and spindle. This is the head block here. This is part of the flybar cage. That's the flybar seesaw. And you've got mixer arms here. That's the washout base, washout arms. I can't quite see what those are. Oh, those are the main grip arms that go onto the main grips here. This is the swash plate, and this is a change to the Outrage 550 on the swash plate. This is a double bearing swash plate. It's quite a bit beefier than the Outrage 550, and there's no slop in it at all. I've looked at a production machine that's been running for quite some time with this swash plate on it, and it's absolutely superb. Really, really good swash plate now. And the beefier grips for the 50 size, these have bigger bearings in them than the Outrage 550, and are a much more beefy grip for a 50 size helicopter. And we've got two types of dampers in here, standard damper and 3D, some ball links, and then the flybar paddles in this back pocket here. Okay, so that's the main bag, and main bags 1, 2 and 3, and those are mainly head components within there for building up the head. Okay, so this is main bag 4. Within main bag 4 we've got the two side frame halves. We've got the horizontal and vertical stabiliser, which are carbon, and we've got the bottom tray for the helicopter and some servo mounts and spacers and that type of thing. And this looks to me like it's 1.5mm thick carbon side frames, but I'll check that in the build and come back to that. But at the moment that looks like a 1.5mm carbon side frame, and the same for these other parts. They're all they're all pretty much the same thickness, so 1.5mm. Okay, I'll move on to the next item. Okay, this is main bag 5. Within main bag 5 we've got the motor, CNC motor mount for the motor, and then mainly mainframe components for building up the mainframes. So we've got parts of the radio tray, we've got the rear boom clamp, and I don't know if you can see it in here, it's tense over. There we go, you can see the front of the torque tube gears, the output gears for the front of the torque tube. We've got the anti-rotation slider and the little tray that goes at the back of the heli, which you can mount electronics onto. Canopy posts. These items here, I'm not entirely sure what those are. I think that's to do with the drive for the tail push rod, because it goes back onto an arm mounted on the frames before going down the boom, because the tail servo is mounted in the frames. So you have a one rod going to the back of the boom clamp, and then there's this arm which then sends the output from the servo down the boom using a standard push rod. I'm not entirely sure what we've got here. That's for building up the mainframes themselves. It looks like there's thumb screws here as well for holding on the canopy, rather than the usual pop-on type setup. I think those thumb screws are probably for the front canopy holes, and then the ordinary pop-on style for the back canopy holes. But a mixture of canopy securing methods there, both thumb screw and the normal sort of pop-on through a grommet, rubber grommet type canopy post. Okay, now main bag 6. Not too difficult to see what we've got here. We've got the fuel tank and some fuel tubing and the gubbins for putting together the clunk and that kind of stuff. And then we've got skid legs here, struts and legs, and the various screws for mounting them onto the helicopter. So that's main bag 6. Okay, here we have main bag 7. This has got the clutch and clutch bell within it. It's got an item I don't recognise. That looks like it's possibly, yeah, that's part of the clutch housing, centre of the clutch, which bolts the fan, by the look of it, onto the engine shaft. Then next to that you've got the fan, which that piece goes into the middle of, secures the fan onto the engine. Then we've got the fan shroud for the engine, and then the auto-rotation gear, auto-rotation bearing and main gear and tail drive gears, and the last items in there. Okay, so that's mainly stuff for drivetrain, clutch housing, and also we've got the pinion and the starter shaft in there as well. Okay, here we have main bag 8. Within here we've got more ball links. We've got the shared CCPM control shaft, which these various bell cranks mount onto. So you've got your elevator, you've got your aileron and your elevator bell cranks all along the top here for your CCPM control. And then we've got some screws and ball links for securing onto those various bell cranks. We've also got all the various shafts for the push rods. So mostly control system stuff in bag 8. Okay, here we've got main bag 9, and this is the bag that had the boom within it. And it's got the support struts for the boom. It's got some guides for the tail push rod. These look like the torque tube ends, go on the torque tube shaft, and bearing housings for the torque tube itself. Then we've got the horizontal stabiliser clamp at the back there, and I'm guessing within the boom itself, because I can't see it. Oh yes, I can. No, I can't. Must be within the boom itself is the torque tube carbon rod that those ends in there will go onto. So it looks to me, yeah, that it's inside the boom, so you can't actually see it. Okay, here we have main bag 10. This has got tail blades within it, which you may be able to see there. It's got the tail output shaft and the rear tail gearbox and the gears for the torque tube for the tail output shaft. And we've got our tail rotor, which is pretty much pre-built by the looks of it there. And we've also got the tail pitch slider mechanism, which again is partially built for the tail pitch slider. So those make up your tail rotor, tail gearbox and control system. Okay, and lastly we've got bags 11, what I think is probably bag 12, although it's not labelled, and bag 13, because I can't actually find a bag 12, so I'm assuming this is it. Bag 11, this has got a mount for a sensor for a governor, for the engine governor. That bolts onto the side frames to allow you to mount your governor sensor. Bag 12 is canopy grommets. And bag 13 is your usual spare parts bag, and you've got some tie wraps and some spare bits and bobs and spare screws and ball links and that kind of stuff in bag 13. And that only leaves two last items that were in the box. One being the canopy, which we've already had a look at, and the other thing was the Outrage muffler, which I pulled out of the box first of all anyway, but that's to give it some decent power from a 50 sized motor. And if you're going for the OS55 or the YS56, I believe Outrage are doing a specific muffler for those to extract the best power from the larger 55, 56 size engines. So this muffler is for your standard 50 size, YS50, OS50, Redline 53, that kind of stuff. Okay, and last but not least, there's a blade caddy within the box, standard Outrage blade caddy. And that's everything. So that's the what's in the box video. Next video we'll be getting on with building the head and putting together the full build video for the Velocity 50.